paps.tv/@QueenTina. If you guys would still like to get 100 free coins for joining Paps TV, all you have to do is go to my landing page at paps.tv/QueenTina and join, and you get a free 100 free coins. Give them away to people, just free. Give them away. Just sprinkle them all over the place if you want to. You don't have to give them to me. Give them to other people. I'm not all about that life. But I just wanted to share that with you guys. They're still giving them away according to this. So Alexa never got logged in. I don't know what's going on. I had to update Google Chrome, which I figured that might have been one of the issues. But almost like to never got, and I've got all these disconnections over here on the side. I do not know what's going on. But I wanted to show you a picture. I don't know if you guys, well, it's on my profile. It's my profile photo. I do clean up nice sometimes. This is what I look like some days when I clean up. Just wanted to share that with y'all. I do not always look like this. I do clean up sometimes when I don't feel like dog do, like I do right now because I have pneumonia. Oh, sorry. I'm having trouble here. This is the most confusing site. Let's see. Take that down. Okay, wait. Okay. Hold on. I forget how we take these down. Oh, yeah. We take them down that way. But I'm on my 5th, 6th day with pneumonia. Not having my back doesn't hurt nearly as bad today. Oh, I can take these off. My back doesn't hurt nearly as bad today as it has in the past few days. And I couldn't get my camera to work without using Manicam today. I don't know what's going on with my system. Something might be going on with my computer. I hope not. That is something I don't need to have to worry about right now. But I did do a video over on just YouTube last night. I wanted to do one just on YouTube, so if you guys want to go over and watch that, you can. I'm not telling you have to. I was just in the mood just to do one on YouTube last night, so I did do a video on YouTube. I'm drinking protein. Okay. Since I've been sick, I'm taking these doxycycline. These pills are as big as they're an inch long. I measured them. They're an inch long. They're gigantic. Like, let me show you. These things are huge. These are an antibiotic I'm having to take twice a day. Well, because my stomach is so much smaller, you're supposed to take them with food. Well, I can't take them with food right away. So I was eating probiotics. I got the yogurt to eat with my antibiotic, and I have been doing that. Listen, this time I'm doing everything by the book. I'm doing things like I'm supposed to, because now that I have a smaller stomach, you have to do things by the rules, because you can kill a stomach with antibiotics or with medications, so you have to be careful. Well, let's just say I've dropped 10 pounds in 5 days because these pills make me so sick. So sick. And so I made a concoction last night, and I screwed up today because I didn't put peanut butter in it, but I've stopped soda again because I can't keep doing it. I just cannot keep drinking it. I've got to stop doing it. It's going to be the death of me. And so I made a concoction last night with protein powder, coffee, and peanut butter. Don't ask. Sometimes I get stuff stuck in my head, and I think, okay, so it's wildflower and cacao coffee with my chocolate protein powder. But then I put like a small tablespoon of peanut butter in the coffee while it was really hot, and I mixed it up really well. It was so good. What I didn't do today is I don't put sugar in my coffee anymore. I don't put any sugar in my coffee at all anymore. I just put coffee, the hot water coffee. Then I'll put like dairy creamer, in my coffee. But today I just used milk because I was going to put my protein powder in my coffee. Well, today I didn't put a lot of milk in it, which I needed to add extra milk because the protein powder will kill my kidneys if I don't drink enough water, which I've got to put my glass full of water here in a little bit. But I didn't put any peanut butter in this. Oh, I'm having a hard time drinking it. Really hard time. I'm going to drink it if it kills me because I have to get my protein in because my hair will fall out, and like regular food, I can't even eat regular food. Like my stomach shrank that much from the time that I've started the doxycycline and today. Like I can't eat. Like I ordered regular food the other night, and I could only eat 3 bites. And I told Brother Caleb, I said, I said I put the bite in my mouth, and I said, oh, you're gonna see that in about 2 seconds. So I had to put my food away. Like no, when you take that last bite, it's like, that's not good. So I made just to give you an idea, yesterday I made a bacon sandwich. That's all I made. It was just a bacon sandwich, 2 slices of bread, some mayo, and like 3 strips of bacon. That's it. 3 strips of bacon on fried bacon. I took a bite and I heard the voice in my head go, do you want to see this in about 4 seconds? You better spit that out. And I spit it out and I didn't finish it. The rest of it got thrown away. And I hate to throw away food. I am the world's worst to say there are kids that are not eating. There are people that are going hungry. I do not like to throw away food. I will not waste food. If I buy food, I eat it. I do not like to throw it away. I mean, that's why I'm going to drink this, because it's got my protein powder in it. I made the cup of coffee. I'm going to drink this. I don't care how sick it makes me. I'm going to sit here and drink this. I am. It's got my protein in it, and it's the protein for the day that I need. And boy, oh boy, I don't want to drink it. It's not too bad. I've got my juice mixture. This is sugar-free juice with just, I mixed it with it's Tampico juice. They make a sugar-free Tampico juice. And then I've got regular Tampico, and I just put maybe a splash of the regular in it because it's really acidic. The sugar-free is really acidic, and it upsets my stomach. So I mix just a little bit. You can see it's not fully orange. And yes, I put it in a soda bottle because it's got a lid on the top of it. I don't want to spill stuff because bad things. I don't want to make a mess. Now, I've knocked things over, and so I didn't want to knock my juice over. So yes, I put juices into these bottles, and then I put my water in my Tervis. It's up here, but I've got to put water in it. I haven't put water in it yet. I've got to put ice and water in it when I go back to the kitchen. So yeah, bottoms up, folks. Just about makes me want to yak every time I take a sip of this. It's not too bad. I mean, it's not the Orgain chocolate the Orgain chocolate protein is not bad. It's just that it's not all that great either. And I just spilled it. Oh no. Let's see, anything else going on? I don't think there's anything else going on. I'm still not feeling 100%. I mean, my lungs hurt. My left side of my lungs hurt. I mean, I guess they're getting better. I hadn't gone and gotten my x-ray done yet. I'm going to wait until I finish my medicine before I go get the x-ray done of my lungs, because I don't want them changing my medication to something else. That's my pet peeve, when you're taking something and then right 2 days after you start a medication, they say, oh, it's not working. You go and they change it. dude, you didn't let it work long enough. I don't want them putting me on different medicines and then my body has to adjust to everything. So I'm going to take this round of antibiotics, then go and let them do a chest x-ray. I just have to walk in and say, hey, I need to get a chest x-ray, and they'll do the chest x-ray. So, but that's if my back still hurts. Today it's not bothering me. Like, it hurts like right here in my back, like right across here. I told somebody last night, it was like, it's like if a grown man took his fist and just, like both of his fists, and just punched me in the back like that, you know. So, but I'm okay. It's just a little sore, you know. Let's see what else. What else is going on? I don't think there's anything else going on here. No, I see I've had 12 views, but nobody said anything. So if you guys are here and you wanted to be acknowledged, hi, how are you? If you're fam and you're at work, hi fam, how are you? Hope you're doing well. If you're fam and you're part of the replay crew, hi fam, hope you're doing okay. I love you. You know I do. You know, I hope you guys are doing well. I hope that you're finding something positive in your day. I know I try to find something positive in my day every day. I have to. We all have to, right? I mean, COVID, if anything, COVID taught us we have to find something positive in every day, at least one thing positive in every single day. So I hope you guys can find one positive thing in your day today. I hope so. Maybe. I hope so. I would hope you'd find something positive in your day today. I know I appreciate all of you all, because you guys are family and I love y'all. And I know there's people out there that can't stand the sight of me, but you know, that's a preference. You guys don't have to watch my channel if you don't like me. I was going to talk about something that happened recently. What was it? There were several cases that were coming up. There's a case that came up that I was going to talk about. But I haven't done my research yet. It's a pretty bad one. Well, hi. That's my messages on my phone. I have to do my research though, and I want to do a little bit more research before I fully come, you know. I don't think they ever named the Hispanic man in Mexico. I've got to do some more research on that one. That case is just crazy. That man had some issues. And I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but there was a Hispanic man in New Mexico or Mexico that they found multiple, I mean, we're talking multiple bodies. They found bodies that had been buried underneath this man's house. They found like many pieces of women's purses. They found IDs from many women, and they were warning women not to be on the streets. And we're talking Hispanic women that lived in the area and women that were coming down to travel, because, and get this, the police chief's wife went missing. If I'm not mistaken, the police chief's wife went missing, and that's why he got caught, because she went by his home. Don't quote me on that, but I believe that's what happened. The investigation led to this guy, and they were digging up this guy's house, and they found parts of, I cannot even begin to tell you how many women. So I need to see if I can get updated information on this guy, but they didn't release any names. And I mean, I just can't imagine. They said this guy he was the butcher. He was the town butcher, from what I understand. Like, he ran the butcher shop. This guy was profesh. I mean, like, I can't even, I don't get it. You know, like, how could he get away? I mean, I just don't see how he could get away with it. Like, how did people not know that he was doing this. And he wasn't young. Like, this was an older man that was doing it too. Like, how does one well, I just dropped my phone in the garbage. That was fun. How does one murder that many people and nobody hear it, nobody see it, nobody smell it, and he get away with it for so long? That's my questions. Who, what, when, where, why? Why he was just crazy, in my opinion. But that's my opinion. I don't know the man. I think he's touched. I think anybody that's going to kill another human being has got some issues. They got to have something wrong with them, because I mean, look at Jeffrey Dahmer. I mean, just looking at him. I mean, I don't think they ever come out and said he was a sociopath, did they? I mean, I don't know if anybody ever did say whether he was a sociopath or not, but just looking at him, I mean, he had this blank look in his face, that didn't quite, he just didn't connect. They also said that about, what was the other guy? The guy that was so smart and good looking, and all the women just couldn't believe that he was a murderer. Can't remember his name. But he was personable. But they said that he was a sociopath. He was a classic sociopath. They said that he felt no remorse. He felt no empathy, sympathy, anything. That anything he said and done was just topical. That's a classic sign of a sociopath, that they can look at you like some narcissistic people. Now, I don't think I've ever met, well, yeah, I've dealt with a sociopathic person. Never saw them in person. I've dealt with someone that I think was a sociopath online, but he was extremely narcissistic and very controlling. And some sociopathic people, they know what they're doing, but they can have relationships, they can have friendships and stuff. It's just, I don't know that I would ever be able to. I mean, if they came to me and said, "Hi, I'm a sociopath," I don't know that I'm sociopathic. I don't know that I would ever be able to say, "Okay, I'll be your friend." I mean, I know there's a girl on YouTube that's a sociopath. She's sociopathic and she's in a relationship with a guy. And I just don't know how that works. I mean, they talk about it openly. And there's another young man that talks about him being a sociopath. I just don't know. I just don't know what it would be like to have no feelings whatsoever toward another human being. Like, me look at you straight in the face and me knowing what I'm going to say and do to you that would be completely and utter controlling to you, and me not have any feeling behind my eyes at all. Like, me controlling every move and saying, knowing the moves 50 moves ahead. That's what they do. They pick somebody and then they play with them. That's their goal. That's what they do. And it's just, I don't know. It's just odd. But I mean, it's a illness. Being sociopathic or being pathological, period, is an illness. Having depression's an illness. Having, psychosis is an illness. It's an illness in itself. But how do you, I don't know. I just think it's, I think it's sad. I do believe that Wuornos, what was her name? Ellie Wuornos. I believe she was sociopathic. I think she was sociopathic, and I believe that what trauma she went through as a child, I believe that was the biggest part of her issue. She was I think I'm not excusing what she did to the men that she murdered, but I believe that you can be pushed into psychosis. I'm not a psychiatrist, psychologist. I'm not one of those people. But if you look at her, if you had looked at her, looked at her pictures when she was younger, and then looked at her pictures as she got older, her eyes, if you just look at her eyes, there's like nothing there. Now, there are some, you see nothing as they're growing up. You just have this blank stare as they're growing up. But she was, I think I've seen some photos of her, I think, growing up. I'm not sure. I'll have to go back and look, and there's very few photos. They don't really release a ton of, they don't want people to feel sympathy for people like Aileen Wuornos and Jeffrey Dahmer and, murders like that. They don't want anybody to feel any kind of sympathy for people like that. But if you go back and look at their childhood and look at, what they've been through, I don't know what he went through. Don't have a clue. But you can almost look at them and tell as children right here if they're connecting at all, and it's sad. It's sad to see. I mean, I don't know what Jeffrey went through. I'm not excusing what he did either, though. So I'm just saying, I think sometimes people can be pushed into psychosis. I think sometimes people can be pushed into doing things, but I know that, what is his name? He was a lawyer. I have to look him up now that I've got him on my brain, because it's going to bug me that I can't remember, because I got squishy brain today. What was his name?
Hello?
That's not who I'm thinking of. Hey, Daddy. Who was the guy? What was the guy's name that was a mass? The murderer that was a lawyer. The guy that would put a cast on and walk around with crutches. Who? Casey? I don't think that was who it was. No, he was the clown. Casey was a whole nother story. That man was sick. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Serial killers. Okay, you could look at Mendez. Mendez was really messed up. That guy had some serious issues. Gacy was just, oh, that man. Ugh. Ted Bundy. Ted Bundy's who I was talking about. Ted Bundy was, if you look at Ted Bundy and every interview, if you look at any photos, and there's been a lot of people that talk about him to this day. They even talk about, this is what they talk about. This is what they say. Handsome, well-educated, and brimming with charm. And this is off the History Channel's website. Handsome and well-educated and brimming with charm, Ted Bundy seemed the unlikeliest of serial killers, which made his decade-long multi-state killing spree all the more surprising, and to some, appealing. Born to an unwed teenage mother, Bundy never learned his father's identity and was raised believing that his grandmother was actually his mother and his mother actually his sister. So this guy spent 10 years killing people and got away with it, and then defended himself in court. Hey, Dave. And if you watch him in like Cubby Rehab, well, I mean, we're just talking because I mean, I was just thinking about it. I was talking about sociopathic, tendencies. A lot of these guys, were sociopathic, and I just wonder how many of them were that way from birth. Like I can believe Ted Bundy was, because it just, you can see it. You can see it. Jeffrey Dahmer. If you look at the pictures of Jeffrey Dahmer, there's nothing here. Like there's nothing. Like when you talk to them, you can see when they talk to them, there's nothing there behind the eyes. There's nothing. But the scary thing about Ted Bundy is Ted would tell you whatever you wanted to hear. Ted would lie to you to your face and think you would believe him. And a lot of women did. That was a scary thing about Ted Bundy. Ted was good looking. So Ted would get women by the dozens. That's what happened with all the women that Ted got, because Ted was nice looking. Ted got dozens of women and killed them. His last victim, which I did not realize this, his last victim was, and this is sad, and he moved to Florida where he killed several members of a sorority, and his final victim was a 12-year-old girl. Hey, Caleb. Who he did the R word, and then he murdered her. This protein powder is killing me. I've got a little bit more of this to drink and then I'm done with it. Oh. But people would glorify Ted Bundy. I mean, they were just like, oh, he's the greatest of all time. He would get letters by the thousands. They said here that he became a media, his when he was apprehended, his trial was the first to be fully televised, featured him front and center, acting as his own defense attorney. He became a media star, welcoming journalists to his cell, receiving letters of admiration from lovelorn fans, even marrying one of them, and providing an endless list of clues and additional murders he may have committed in the hopes of delaying his execution. But it didn't. It didn't work. They ended up giving me an electric chair in 1989, the year I graduated high school. So, I mean, he wanted to play it out as long as he could. That was the psychopath in him. The sociopathic guy in him was saying, oh, we're going to, oh, he was. That's what I'm saying. He was a sociopath. He wanted to, in his mind, he wanted to keep them going as long as he could. They want to play on, it's a game for them. From what I understand, they play, it's a big game. Life's a big game for sociopathic people. They don't feel remorse. They don't feel guilt. They want to play. Life's a big game. It's like it's an open game. They can do what they want to because there's no remorse. It's like they don't have. It's like it's an open field. Like I can do whatever I want to, and he did. He did whatever he wanted to. Oh gosh, I didn't even know about that one. I don't know enough about him. There was number 8 was H.H. Holmes, the pharmacist who built a murder castle. Never even heard about that one. Wow. That's incredible. I mean, yeah, listen to this. H.H. Holmes spent his early career as an insurance scammer before moving to Illinois in advance of the 1893 Chicago World's Fair to work as a pharmacist. It was there that Holmes built what he referred to as his murder castle a 3-story inn that he secretly turned into a macabre torture chamber. Some rooms were equipped with hidden peepholes, gas lines, trapdoors, and soundproof padding, while others featured secret passages, ladders, and hallways that led to dead ends. There were also greased chutes that led to the basement, where Holmes had installed surgical table, a furnace, and even a medieval rack. Both before both before and during the World's Fair, Holmes led many victims, mostly young women, to his lair, only to asphyxiate them with poison gas and take them to his basement for horrific experiments. He then either disposed of the bodies in his furnace or, okay, I can't finish that because this is going to YouTube. He took this off and sold the skeletons to medical schools. At the same time, Holmes worked in insurance scams, collecting money from life insurance companies. Holmes was finally caught when one of his co-conspirators tipped off the police after Holmes failed to deliver his payout. Holmes was eventually convicted of the murders of 4 people, but he confessed to at least killing 27 more before being hanged in 1896. Can you believe that? I've never even heard of the man. That's crazy. That is nuts. That's just number 8. Where's the rest of them? Hold on. Oh, that's the top 8. Okay. So, Harold Shipman, Dr. Death, who killed 218 patients. I mean, he's another one. You've got a doctor that believes that that's just crazy. Says one of history's deadliest serial killers was a married family man who managed to squeeze in 218 credited murders and as many as 250 while working as a popular British physician. Shipman began his murder spree in 1972, the year I was born. No, I was born in 71. Was I born in 72? No. I was born in 71. And it's believed he killed at least 71 patients while working at his first practice and double that number at a second practice he joined after butting heads with colleagues who found him arrogant, brisk, and overconfident. Finally, in 1998, both the local undertaker and another doctor noticed the unusually high numbers of cremation certificates Shipman had signed off on. They also noticed striking similarities in the recently deceased patients themselves. The majority were elderly women who were found sitting up and fully clothed, not in bed as would usually be the case with gravely ill. Despite these clues, the initial investigation was shoddily handled, allowing Shipman to kill 3 more times. Shipman's luck ran out later that year when the daughter of his final victim, lawyer Kathleen Grundy, claimed he'd not only killed her mother, but had also tried to create a new fake will naming him as her sole beneficiary. Oh, Julie, we're just talking about, Sonny, we're just talking about serial killers and how they got away with it. Naming him as her sole beneficiary. Unlike his other victims, Grundy had not been cremated, and an autopsy revealed lethally high levels of diamorphine, the drug Shipman used for most of the killings. He was formally charged with 15 murders and was convicted and sentenced to life without parole in 2000. Shipman died in 2004 after committing suicide in his cell. He never admitted to any of the killings. So, I mean, that's ridiculous. I mean, that guy killed 218 patients. 218. Like, what's with life? I just don't get it. How they can get by with it. It's like after like so many people die under a doctor's care, should there not be a problem? Should somebody not go, excuse me, doc? Should there not be a review done? Oh, this protein powder's kill me. Y'all. I swear I'm gonna get all this drink if it kills me. I'm going to get this down, I promise. Oh, sorry. It really is that nasty. I should have put peanut butter in this, but I did not. I can't drink that last bit. I can drink it. It's just so bad. It's so bad. Sonny, what I was talking about is that a lot of them are just so messed up from birth that, and I'm not, okay, and like I said from the get-go, I'm not saying that what they've done is okay by any means of the word. Not at all. But you look at Ali Mornos, she was the one that was, that killed all the men, she was dead behind the eyes. That woman had been through some ish. She'd been abused. I mean, abused, 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 and abused. And so she finally decided she was going to become the abuser. I don't agree that that's the way it needs to be, but when you've been abused as a child, and I mean, apparently she'd been abused as a child and abused as a young adult and abused as a woman by her husband. And so she just decided she was done. She was done being abused. Now, I didn't live that life. I didn't have to grow up the way she did. I didn't have to take on what she had to take on. So I can't say I would have done the same thing she did. I'm not saying what she did is okay. However, and what triggered this was I was watching a video of the woman that cut the baby out of the woman and took the child. And they put her to death. They've already put her to death. That was something Trump did before he went out of office. He put that woman to death. And so they were talking about that. A lawyer was talking about that and saying that, she was probably crazy and that's why she did it. Yeah, but being crazy does not mean you can go out and cut a child out of somebody else's body, commit murder, and then take the child. We have laws that dictate that if you do something like that, you're going to die. You know the rules. Like, I know the rules. If I commit murder, I'm going to be put to death in the state of Tennessee. That's the rule. So if I deliberately get mad at someone and I take a gun, an axe, a knife, something that is a weapon, and I harm someone else and it causes their death, and I do it on purpose, I know what the end result is, and I know what I know what's happening. I know what can happen to me. And I don't understand why people think it's okay to say, oh no, she didn't deserve it because she didn't realize what was going on. Yes, sir, she did. I don't care how crazy some people are. They know what the end result is. You know what you're doing when you're cutting the child out of the woman. You know that she's dying, and you know what the end result's going to be. When you run off and go hide with the child, you're essentially, well, no, what I'm saying is, honey, you're essentially trying to hide from the facts. That's all I'm saying. I don't understand why people think that it's okay to hide and say you didn't know what you were doing. And we'll get off that subject because I don't want to scare you anymore. But that's what I wanted to say. I just don't like the fact that people say they don't know the ending, what the end's going to be of that. Because we all know what the end result is. At least I was taught that way. And I don't want to drink the rest of this coffee, Sonny. It's got protein shake. It's got protein powder in it. See, look at it. It's coffee. Hey, Gemma. It's coffee with chocolate protein powder in it. And I didn't put the peanut butter in it this time. I put a little bit of peanut butter in it last night, and it tasted a little bit better. It tasted Better last night? How are you doing, Miss Gemma? This is rough. Oh, well, yeah, I'm talking about in the story of, like, if we do something bad, like right now, Sonny. I'm talking like if somebody does something bad right now, we know better. We know fully better than to do something to harm someone, in the sense of, what's going to happen. Like, we know what'll happen. So I don't get why lawyers say, oh, well, she was abused and this is why, and she don't need to be put to death. Well, I'm sorry. She knew that if she did this, then that's what the, no. I'm 5 days out, or is it 6 days? I'm 7 days, 7 days out, 7 days out. My lungs don't hurt anymore. I'm supposed to go and get a chest x-ray. I was supposed to do it 2 days after. I'm going to wait till I finish the medicine, and I'm going to get up a chest x-ray and see if it's gone. If it's not gone, then they'll put me on more medicine. But my back doesn't hurt today. This is the first day my back's not hurt. So I must be on the upswing. It is, Sunny. And that's what I was saying. You look at these people that, yeah, Gemma, it's definitely, well, I've lost 10 pounds because of the medicine. Exactly, Sunny. That's what I was trying to say. Some people have, like, I was talking about Ted Bundy. I believe Ted Bundy was a sociopath from birth. I don't believe that man ever had a day in his life where he didn't examine things and see things the way he wanted to see them, and he didn't execute things the way he wanted them to go. That's how I see it. And there are a lot of people that think that that's the way his entire life was, that he was that smart and that he choreographed his entire life, that he was, because he's a sociopath, or he was a sociopath because he's not with us anymore. There are people out there that are sociopaths that can live their lives that don't do that to people. They acknowledge what they do. They're in therapy and they try to live their lives accordingly. They try not to hurt other people. They try to use keys, and they try to use they don't, Gemma. They have no feelings, and that's what I'm trying to say. Sociopaths have no feelings of any of all, and when they go to therapy, they give them ways to deal with other people, and not to, they pinpoint, they actually set and pinpoint on people to use. Like, there's a young man on YouTube that was a sociopath, and they got to sit down with him and talk to him and ask him what it was like to be a sociopath. It was so interesting to hear what he had to say, because he actually went to therapy, and he said, I can pick out someone and basically turn them into whoever I want, make a situation go the exact way I want it to go, if I want it to. And he basically said, I have to stop myself. I have to rein myself in and say, okay, that's not how this is going to happen. No, Sonny, because there's a lot of people that, I think are damaged because of trauma, like, I mean, horrendous trauma. Um, no, not you, Sonny. No, honey, you don't have anything to worry about. You're okay, honey. You're fine. I was talking about Aileen Wuornos. I think I think she was a sociopath, but I think her psychosis was brought on by her abuse. Because when you looked at her, If you looked at her, if you look at any of her photos, if you go back and look at any of her photos in her court, like any of the court photos you see, or I think they've done interviews with her, she looks very angry. She looks very hateful and angry. There are. She was damaged when she was younger. She was abused when she was younger. She was abused as she got older. And I believe that attributed to her change. And you can change. I mean, people can change. I mean, look, divorce can change people. I'm not the same person I was when I was married. So I'm a different person now. Abuse can change people. Absolutely. But I believe that she had been beaten, she'd been sexually abused. Sorry, I shouldn't use that while I'm on here because it goes to YouTube. She'd been SA'd, she'd been AR'd, she'd been, there's been so many things that happened to her, and it takes a toll on you mentally and physically. And I really do believe that had something to do with her psychosis. And I'm not saying that what she did was okay, but I'm saying it had a lot to do with the reason that she was the way she was. Did she deserve to die? I can't answer that question because was she sane? I don't know. Did the doctor think she was sane? I personally don't think Ellie Mornos was sane. A lot of people may think I'm crazy, but with everything that happened to her, looking back now, I don't think the woman could make a sane statement. There are, but there are, but Sonny, it would have to be, you would be so far not in that realm. The reason they would test for it would be, now, just personally speaking, they would have to be looking for it. It would have to be something they would look for. And you have, you're just way too sweet. Really, I only know more about the sociopathic part. I don't know anything about the psychotic part. And I say that about being psychotic. I don't know anything about the psychotic part of it because I think Ellie may have been psychotic, actually more than sociopathic, because bless her heart, I really don't think she knew what she was doing sometimes. And I don't think she was alone. I don't think that had anything to do with it. I think people that have problems with that can be part of it, but I think it's brought on by other things. Yeah, Gemma. I do think that Aline was, but I also believe that Aline had been hit in the head quite a bit. I think she actually had brain damage. I don't think Aline. I think that Ellie Mornos had actual brain damage. Call me crazy. I don't know what they ever diagnosed her with, if they diagnosed her with anything in particular. I'd like to look it up. I may do some research on it and see if I can find anything. If they diagnosed her with anything in particular, they may have, and I just don't know for sure. But I believe that she had brain damage of some sort because she was, from what I understand, she went through it as a young girl and as a child and as an adult. She was in abusive relationships. She was in abusive, in abusive, as a child she was abused and growing up. And, we all know that as a wife being abused, if you have an abusive husband, we don't know to the degree the abuse was. And if the abuse was as bad as what the movie portrayed, then I would say she had some brain damage of some sort. And, you're looking at football players, if they've been hit in the head more than so many times, they get post-traumatic brain disease, because you hit your head from concussion. It's concussion damage. How do we know she didn't have something wrong with hers? And instead of putting her to death, why didn't they study her? Yeah. Yeah. I just think that's what they should have done. I just think that some people, I mean, stepping back now, like I said, I'm not agreeing that what she did was right. I will never agree that murdering people is okay. And I will never agree that serial killers need to stay in prison and live forever. Do not agree with that either. I think Ted Bundy would have been a great source of information if they had let him live a while just to study him, not to give him press. Not. I think he would have been a great tool for psychiatrists and psychologists just to study him. I mean, that's just my opinion, because of the sheer fact that he was so smart. But after reading what all he did, I mean, I wasn't old. I mean, I was old enough, but I wasn't in a place where I was paying attention to everything that was going on there. Yeah, but see, that's the thing. You've got some that would have been there with him. No, he wouldn't have been free, honey. He would have been behind bars, but you could have had a test subject, have one person in the room with him and then had psychologists, sociologists outside the room, Gemma, watching him. You know what I'm saying? Like making sure that, you've got the test group and then you've got the group that's not in the room with him. That's what I'm saying. Have the test group, then have people out that are never in the room with him, people that had no contact with him ever, and switch them out enough that he couldn't play games with them, and just studied him. I mean, because I think he would have been good for, for just to study him for a while. I mean, because just to look at him, it's so weird just to look into dead eyes. I mean, and when I watched his interview right before they put him to death, and he said, "Oh, I just pray for everybody." I'm like, you're looking into dead eyes, like there's nothing, no remorse, no, and his voice is monotone. That's something else. They speak in a very unfeeling, unfriendly voice, but you don't catch it at first. You don't catch it at first. Well, honey, they don't. They don't, Sonny. These people have went to prison. Most of them are, well, all the people I've talked about today are dead. Allie Mornos, I think, wasn't she put to death? Let's see when Allie was put to death. And they don't have Allie on this list, which I think is really weird. She died October 9th, 2002. She was also a sex worker, which I think had a lot to do with, oh no, honey, those people got life. Sonny, we're talking about serial killers. We're talking about serial killers. These are serial killers. Allie Mornos was one of the first, well, not one of the first known serial killers, but she was one of the most, one of the most recent serial killers there has been. She's the most recent. She was put to death October 9th in Florida. She murdered 7 men in Florida. She got 6 death sentences. I mean, you can look, I mean, you could look at pictures of her and just tell there was something not right there. Something not right there. Aline is her name, Aline Wuornos. And, oh, wait, here's her psychiatric diagnosis. At the trial, defense presented evidence of borderline personality disorder, antisocial personality disorder. The state did agree that she had borderline personality disorder. I still say that she was sociopathic. Because if you look at her eyes, I mean, there's just nothing there. There's nothing there, people. There ain't nothing there. I think she had, I really do think that she had something. I think she had a head injury. I think they should have done a lot more research. But at the same rate, I think Eileen was just tired. I hate to say that, but I think when she got to prison, she was there. She was. I think some of these people, and I know this is going to sound weird, but I think when Eileen made it to prison, she was home. Like, she's in prison. Nobody can hurt her, and she can't hurt anybody else. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I don't know if they had her in like lockdown. Like, I don't know if she was in a cell by herself. I don't know anything about that. I'd have to look at. And this is not right. Somebody put first ever female serial killer. There's another serial killer that was a woman. History Channel founder. Her name was Belle Guinness. She was known as Lady Bluebeard. She immigrated from Norway in 1881. She married a Norwegian to immigrate, and she was the first known. I know, Gemma. I don't know if she was in solitary confinement. I'll have to do some research, guys, and see if I can find out stuff. But yeah, I don't know if she was in solitary confinement. I would say she was, with as bad as the temper she had. She did not have a good temper. She was very easy to fly off the handle. So I don't know if they had her in open population, like general pop, or if they had her in solitary confinement. But Lizzie Borden's another one. Yeah, but she didn't kill that many people, did she? How many people did Lizzie Borden kill? I finished my drink, guys. Protein drink is finished. Thank goodness. I've lost 10 pounds. If that says anything. I refuse to drink any of that until I finish that. I don't know. It depends on how many people Lizzie Borden killed. She was acquitted. Lizzie Borden was acquitted. She was tried and acquitted. She was an American woman tried and acquitted of August 4th, 1892, of the murders of her father and her sister and stepmother. So it was only 2 people. So technically, she's not a serial killer. So we're talking about serial killers. So Lizzie Borden wouldn't have been on that list. Let's see, women serial killers. There's not very many on the list. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Most notorious. Now, see, there's a lot of different lists, but none of them have Eileen Wuornos on the list, and she's one of the most notorious ones. Let's do this one. 10 most famous female serial killers. Oh, they do have Eileen Wuornos on this one. Okay, so here we go. Judy, I don't even know how to pronounce this, so here we go. Number 1. And I'm going to spell her last name because I don't know how to pronounce it. It's Buenoano. Buenoano. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Sorry, Judy. Known as the Black Widow, she was executed in the electric chair in 1998. No, it's B-U-E. Here, I'll type it in. Okay. She was executed in the electric chair in 1998. She poisoned her husband with arsenic and drowned her own son, who was partially paralyzed. She tried to kill a third victim using a bomb. See, this is not a serial killer to me. Serial killer means like multiple, like throuple. I think over three people. Aline killed like many people. Then there's Juan Barres. She was nicknamed the Killer of Old Ladies. She was sentenced to 759 years in prison on 11 counts of murder. Now, see, this is what I'm talking about. In the early 2000s, Jack the Ripper. Exactly. Jack the Ripper's number one on the serial killer list. And they still don't know today who Jack the Ripper was. They think Jack the Ripper was actually the doctor that lived in London. They think it was actually the doctor that lived in the town. Word had it that they thought it was the actual doctor that worked in town. Somebody, like new evidence has come back to say that they thought it might have been a doctor that worked in the town, during the time that he was the one doing it. How crazy would that have been, Gemma? Okay, so Juana Barraza, her name is, and I'll type it in here. She killed 11 people. Okay, wait a minute. Something that was the son of Queen Victoria. And see, yeah, I mean, so, and if it was, they'd have never found him guilty because he was the son of Queen Victoria. Okay, now see, this doesn't make any sense. They said they found her, they sentenced her to 759 years of prison on 11 counts of murder. It says, okay, they put her, okay, she found, okay. Okay, they found her guilty on 11 counts of murder. In the early 2000s, they found several old women strangled in the city of Mexico, coming to find out they were Juana's victims. Experts believe that her actions were in the consequence of her alcoholic mother who sold her to a man for 3 beers. The same man abused her when she was only 13. Okay, so tell me why she got 11 counts of murder for 3 women. Something about that don't make sense to me. Somebody needs to explain that to me. Then you have number 3 is Miss Amelia Dyer. Oh, I don't. Miss Amelia Dyer is the douchebag of the day. And I'm going to say that. This is what Philip DeFranco does. He has a douchebag of the day. She's the douchebag of the day. Dyer began by charging money to take in unwanted babies. Once she had the children, she starved them, drugged them, or strangled them. She is believed to have killed hundreds of infants, but she wasn't stopped until one of the corpses appeared in a river. She was hanged in 1896. Amelia is our douchebag of the day. How could somebody do that to babies? How? Yeah, I'm just looking at women right now because I did the men a minute ago. Okay, So Kristen Gilbert is the next one. She murdered 4 of her patients. All of them war veterans when she worked as a nurse. She injected them with a drug called epinephrine. Although prosecutors attempted to secure a death penalty, she was sentenced to life imprisonment in 2001. Okay, number 5 is Nanny Doss. Nanny Doss was sentenced to life imprisonment in 1955 after confessing to have killed 4 husbands with arsenic. She also murdered her mother, her sister, her nephew, and her mother-in-law. She died of leukemia in prison in 1965. So that's what I consider a serial killer. She killed multiple people, not just 2 or 3. I mean, I know that sounds really bad, but what I consider a serial killer is like somebody that murders more than just 2 or 3 people, like it's over a period of time. Like I know Sonny Bunny. I know. You've got Dorothy Puente. I think that's how you say this. Is number 6 on the list. She was arrested in 1988 for poisoning her tenants to steal their Social Security checks. Remains of 4 women and 3 men were found on her patio. She was sentenced to life imprisonment, but she died at the age of 82 in Central California Women's Facility Prison. So that's pretty harsh. I mean, this woman, she was an older woman when she got caught. I mean, that woman was working it hard. There's Myra Henley, number 7. And I'll give you the link to the article here when I get done. Myra Henley, number 7, along with her boyfriend Ian Brady, she murdered 5 children in England during the 60s. Eleanor from YouTube. No, not Eleanor from YouTube. No, honey. Some of the little ones were abused before they died, and the couple kept photographs and audios of their victims. She died behind bars in 2002. Next is Amy Archer Gilligan. Some of these people just make my stomach turn. Amy ran a nursing home. Oh, you heard about her from Eleanor. Oh, okay. Oh, you heard about Myra or Dorothy? Which one did you hear from? Yeah, some of these cases have come across on YouTube, I'm sure. Miss Amy ran a nursing home in Connecticut during the 1900s. Eventually, authorities realized that at least 48 people had died in her care, and many patients had named her as beneficiary. Dorothy. Okay, yeah. Dorothy was an older woman, and she just needed that cash. Number 9, Rosemary West. And I remember Rosemary's case, I do believe. Rosemary and her husband Fred subjected several teenagers, including her own daughter, to torture and SA. After this gruesome treatment, they were murdered, and I'm not going to say that. The couple was arrested in 1994, and West was sentenced to life imprisonment while Fred committed suicide. She is also our douchebag of the day. Number 10, Beverly Allitt. I'm not sure how you pronounce the last name. That's why I'm putting the names in the box over here on the left in the description. In the comment section, so you guys can see the names, because I don't pronounce the names correctly. So you guys can look up the names, because I'm not sure what the names, how to pronounce them. Nicknamed the Angel of Death, Beverly was convicted in 1993 for murdering 5 children by making them overdose on insulin. She was diagnosed with Munchausen syndrome by proxy, a mental disorder in which the caregiver of minor makes them sick on purpose to attract attention to themselves. I'm sorry. I'm going to say something that's very unpopular, but I believe that is a load of bull. Munchausen by proxy is just an attention-seeking disorder. That is just a name given to women that are attention-seeking. That's it. That is not a disorder. Munchausen by proxy is not a disorder. All that is I want attention. That's it. Munchausen by proxy doesn't mean anything. All that is I want attention, so I'm going to make my baby sick. It is not a disorder. There's no disorder in that. People can say what they want to, but there is no disorder in that. There is nothing in a woman's mind that will make her child sick just to get attention. But just to get attention. She is just wanting attention. It is just an attention-seeking thing because she's not getting the attention that she wants or needs. So she's doing it purely for herself. Munchausen by proxy. And this is just my opinion, and opinions are like something that we all contain, and everybody has one, and y'all can agree with me or not. But those mothers out there, I was not able to have a child, but those mothers out there that know what it feels like to give birth to a child and then hear women that hurt their children would agree that Munchausen by proxy is just, I just want attention. This was just police officers' way of saying she's just wanting attention. I'm sorry. That is exactly what it is. They didn't have any other way to say it. The first woman's last name was Munchausen. Munchausen by proxy. So that's why they call it Munchausen by proxy. She tried to kill her child. Munchausen by proxy. She's just trying to get attention. And it makes me so angry that women would do this. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to get so hot, but that makes me so mad. Okay, and that's all the women. There's 10 women there that, wonderful women that they were. And then the men, we'll do the men another day. We'll go through the men another day. But that's 10 of the most famous serial killer women as of 2021. That was the, and I'll give you the link to the article. Kokomo is far away from Tennessee. Yes, Kokomo is far away from Tennessee. There's the article. If y'all want to click on that article, let's see, notifier. All right. Okay. All right. Now, why won't that work? It won't let me push it. I guess it's because it's not with the phone. Okay. Anyway. Now, I just wanted to, I know it got kind of off on an odd subject today, guys, but I'm glad we talked about it because I will, Sunny Bunny. Don't worry. That article just contains the top 10 serial killers, women. And you can read like the article where I found the top 10. You don't have to read the article. That's just the article that I was reading from today. If you don't want to read the article, you don't have to. I'm citing my source. That's what they want us to do. If we're reading something or if we're reading the news, we have to cite our source. I'm citing my source for what news I was reading from today. So that's my source link. I'm citing my source so I don't get yelled at for not citing my source. But and I need to cite my other source too. Here's the source for the men. No, it's kind of the funny thing with HAPs is if we talk about, like, if we're talking about news or if we're doing news stories, they consider that legit. Like, we're talking, like, if we're doing news articles, we're doing news stories, we're doing news. Therefore, we have to cite our articles. We have to cite references, articles, everything. So if I'm talking about something that I'm using as source material, I need to sort my sources, you know, reference my sources. So I'm referencing my sources so that I can say this is where I got my information. So I just want I just want to make sure I reference my sources so nobody comes back on me and says, well, you didn't reference you know, the history channel for the sources on that, and you didn't reference this for that. And so I'm citing my sources. I did not talk about anybody in particular. Well, no, I'm not a reporter, but when I do stories that are news centric, like if I do a story on a serial killer or if I do a story on something that I feel passionate about, like if I do a story and I do my research and I talk about it, it is considered me reporting on it. Therefore, I have to cite my articles. I do. So that's if I want to do that. I'm not telling anybody else to do that. I'm citing my articles because I don't want anybody coming back on me and saying you didn't list your articles. So because I had somebody ask me what my reference were for a opinion article I did one day, and I'm like, this is just an opinion, but I told them what my sources were, and so this is me covering my bases, so nobody comes in and says where are your sources. So there's my sources. You guys don't have to look at it, but if you guys want to look at it and read it for your own, that's okay. But you know, well, I kind of am in a way because I've started reading. I've started diving into some things, and there's been some things happen in my town that or in my state that I'm not happy with. And so I've started reading some articles and digging into some things. And I'm starting to do a class on the police department here locally here next month. And, I'm wanting to read more about some stuff that's going on in my town and stuff. And so I want to do more reported type of content. Not all, because I come to talk to you guys mostly, because this is what I do. I love spending time with the family. It's not a reporter type channel, but I like talking about stuff that I feel passionate about. And I feel passionate about, you know, um, there was a um, child sex ring stopped in my state. Child trafficking stopped in my state. And so if I want to talk about that, if I want to do an article about that, if I want to be a reporter and report on that, then I have to cite my references. So, I want to be sure that I do my research and I cite my references for all that. So since we were talking about that today, I appreciate that, Sonny. I'm doing okay right now, I promise. I'm feeling better. Actually, I'm feeling better than I have in the last few days. So it's been a while since I felt worth anything. That's why I haven't been on here. Like, I try to post, on the front page. If y'all don't see me, I'll try to post on the front page. Y'all can always check back on the front page. If you haven't talked to me, if you haven't seen a video, always check HAP's front page or check your email. Like, I would suggest to subscribe to my subscription to, get all the updates. And if I post, I will always leave the post up. Like, if I leave a post, I'll say, not doing a video, or I'm just checking in to say hi or whatever. Just to let y'all know I'm thinking about you. Because I do. I think about y'all all the time. It was so nice to have you guys here today. I had my Sonny, I had my Gemma, I had Caleb, I had Dave here for a little bit. That was so nice. It was. But I'm going to go because it's almost 4 o'clock and my mom's going to be getting off work soon and I'm going to have to go pick her up. So I don't want to have to suddenly leave you guys and not be able to talk to y'all. So I'm going to go. But remember, I love you all so very much. Remember to smile at somebody. You never know if that might change somebody's entire day, and share the love I share with you with somebody else. I love you guys so, 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 so much in the whole wide world. Bye, guys.